Put a finger down if you caught your 70-year-old dad and your 27-year-old gay best friend of 14 years fucking.
Let's get into it, shall we? We're gonna call her T for the sake of the video. T gets up here and tells us about how she caught her 7-year-old father and her 27-year-old stud best friend doing the do. She went on to say that her and the best friend were best friends for 14 years, and they were actually so close that T's family thought that she was gay at one point and thought that the two of them were like a secret couple. T lives with her parents, and she went on to say that it was not unusual for the best friend to be at her parents' house because they're both really close with each other's families. Now mind you, T's mom is handicapped, and the best friend and the dad did it in the living room after they shut the mom in a bedroom. So boom, July 28th, T's supposed to work a double from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. But she actually ends up getting off early at 7:30. She gets off work, calls her mom, asks her mom if she had anything to eat. The mom says no. T finds that suspicious because the dad got off at 5 o'clock. Now mind you, the best friend was unemployed at this time, and so the dad had been paying the best friend to drive him back and forth to work instead of having to pay an Uber. And T's dad had called her around 7 o'clock, but she didn't answer because she was still at work. And then when she got off at 7:30, she just went ahead and got her mom food and headed home without calling him back. She gets to the house, the best friend's car's in the driveway. That's not unusual, but when she walks in the house, she looks to the side, and the dad and the best friend are on the couch, and the dad is going down on the best friend. Obviously, she asks what they're doing, and the best friend sees her and then tells the dad, like, oh, there's T, and just says it all casual. And T is so thrown off by what she saw that she just keeps walking and goes to the mom's bedroom to give the mom the food. She gives the mom the food. The mom's trying to start up small talk because she doesn't know what's going on. But obviously, she's not in the mood to conversate, so she goes back to the living room. Tell me why the best friend's gone, and the dad's standing there looking stupid. Asked the dad what they were doing. He says nothing. She gets mad, asks again. He says nothing again. So she goes outside. She calls her brother. She tells her brother what happened. She gets off the phone with the brother, goes in the house, tells her mom that she's headed to go beat her best friend up. Obviously, the mom's lost. She asks why, and she's just like, look, I'm going to go beat her up. And T leaves the house. So T's calling the best friend's not answering, so T calls her cousin to let her cousin know that she might go to jail tonight. In the middle of the phone call with the cousin, the best friend starts calling back, so T hangs up with the cousin, tries to answer the phone for the best friend hangs up. T calls the best friend back, the best friend finally answers. Obviously, she's asking, okay, so what were y'all doing? The best friend tells her, oh, we were just chilling. At this point, T asks her where she's at because T wants to fight. The best friend's going on and on about, oh, you're not going to understand my side of the story, your dad came on to me first, blah, 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 blah. At this point, T remembers that they share locations. So T sees what direction the best friend's going in, she heads that same direction. But then the best friend stops sharing her location. And then T's brother calls her back and lets her know that he just FaceTimed the best friend and cussed her out. T asks the brother if he saw where the best friend was at on the FaceTime. He says that it looks like she's at a gas station. T says the best friend always goes to the same gas station, so she heads that way. She pulls up on the best friend at the gas station. The best friend rolls her window down and is like, are we really gonna end our friendship over this? Bitch, duh. They're going back and forth in the parking lot, and at this point, T wants to go somewhere where there are no witnesses because she wants to fight. And at this point, she also realizes that the best friend is super drunk. They pull off from the gas station. T's following behind the best friend. They pull up to a park that's across the street from where the best friend's sister lives. T wants to fight. She gets out the car, but then she realizes that there are also people at the park. She says that she has too much to lose to go to jail, so they just go back and forth in the parking lot. The best friend is once again saying that the dad came on to her first and she didn't leave because she was uncomfortable and has social anxiety. And at that point, that pisses T off, so she just gets in the car and she leaves. Tell me why when T gets home, her dad's still looking stupid in the living room. But this time, he's on the phone with the brother, who's also cursing him out now. T goes in the mom's room. The mom is still lost, and T starts to break down. At some point, the brother convinced the dad to go be honest. The dad goes in the bedroom. He admits, look, I fucked up. She gave me you know what. Now, T's like, that's not what I saw when I walked in. When I walked in, you were giving her you know what. So she realizes, oh, she must have done that before I got here, and then when I walked in on you returning the favor. And then she realized, like, this is my best friend of 14 years who has always been honest with me about all of her sexual experiences. So I know that she is a stud, usually doesn't even mess with men, but when she does not participate in any sort of fellatio the first time being intimate with the dude. So if y'all were doing that to each other, obviously this is not the first time y'all have hooked up. So the dad sort of confesses, and then the mom hits him in the head with a mop that was beside the bed. The dad, who was also drunk at the time, walks out the room. The mom starts crying. T's trying to console her mom. And then all of a sudden, the dad comes back in eventually, and he sits on the bed and acts like nothing happened. And then it's at that point that T goes off on her dad, and she says that she's never spoken to her dad that way a day in her life. Said that she called him every name in the book, and their relationship is now pretty much ruined. She says that he tries to talk to her on occasion, but she feels like they have nothing to talk about. T also went on to say that people ask her if she ever found out how long the best friend and the dad were messing around, and she went on to say that her best friend got put out of her place in January of 2024. T had her own place to live at that time, but she couldn't have anybody live with her, so she convinced her parents to let her best friend move in. The best friend lived there from January 2024 till October of 2024, and T thinks that they were doing it the entire time. Mind you, T didn't move back in with her parents until January of 2025, and the best friend moved in January of 2024, which means that the dad and the best friend were messing around and laughing in everybody's face for an entire year. And then I thought it was over, but bitch, it wasn't. Because then the best friend, that's her, decides to hop online and share her side of the story. And honestly, she put the final nails in her coffin. He started the video by saying, put a finger down if your best friend has ever walked in on her daddy eating your you-know-what. And I'm like, girl, if you're accusing him of assaulting you, then why would you start the video off like that? Like, you would think she would say, put a finger down if you've ever been assaulted by your best friend's father. But I digress. She said that she told T on multiple occasions that she was uncomfortable around men in general, but specifically around T's dad. T paused the video and said, if you're so uncomfortable, then why did you agree to drive him back and forth to work every day? Then the best friend brought up the fact that T had told her, okay, well, tell me a specific time frame or a specific day that you told me that my dad makes you uncomfortable. And the best friend said that she doesn't understand how she's supposed to be able to remember a specific time frame. T paused the video again and was like, if you told me that my dad made you feel uncomfortable, that would mean that I completely disregarded your concerns because I kept bringing you around him. So why would you continue to be my friend at that point? The best friend then went on to say that she doesn't appreciate the fact that T's trying to convince everyone that her and the dad were hunching because she's only 27 and the dad's 70 and she calls him Pops. So apparently that's weird, but you letting him go down on you isn't weird. I don't know. And so T paused the video and was like, yeah, that makes it even worse that you would do this with somebody that you call Pops. The best friend then said at this point she's basically bisexual, so if she wanted some D, she knows who to call for it, and it wouldn't be T's dad. And T paused the video and claimed that the best friend has never identified as bisexual. She actually started off straight, but then transitioned to only liking girls and claimed that she wasn't attracted to men. The best friend said there was no shame in her game, but then T paused the video and said, clearly you are ashamed because you've never been open and honest about your sexuality. The best friend then claimed that she wanted to clarify that T only caught her and the dad laying on the couch and the dad was going down on her, and that's apparently not hunching. And then she went on to blame the dad for supplying her with weed and alcohol. T paused the video and basically was telling her to take accountability for her actions because she was like, you knew that you were drunk and you could have removed yourself from the situation as a grown woman. Best friend claims that she was taken advantage of, and she said that T as the best friend should have taken the time to pull her aside and ask her if she was okay instead of getting mad. T paused the video and was like, when did I have the time to pull you aside? As soon as I got there, you hauled ass. Best friend said throughout the friendship they've never brought their arguments to social media, and T paused the video and said it's because they've only ever fallen out over petty stuff and nothing this serious ever before. The best friend says that T's trying to convince people that she never reached out, but she actually reached out the next day, but T had already blocked her. But she also said she shouldn't have to reach out and apologize because she's the one that was taken advantage of. And so T paused the video and picked apart the whole taken advantage of story. She went on to say that you were sitting in the house supposedly uncomfortable with my dad, then you proceeded to take your pants off, then you proceeded to let him do what he did, and you didn't stop it until I walked in. And then T went on to say since her best friend wants to bring up the topic of pulling people to the side, had she not walked in and caught them in the act, would you have pulled me to the side and been honest about what happened between you and my dad, or would you have kept it a secret? T said the best friend wouldn't have been honest the same way she wasn't honest about the fact that she tried to talk to T's brother one time. T only found out because T's brother told her. The best friend says the dad has continuously been reaching out to her, still trying to hook up. And T paused the video and was like, you claim to be so scared of him and so uncomfortable interacting with him, but you're still answering his phone calls after being allegedly assaulted. And then the best friend basically ended things off by laughing, saying that she basically found the whole situation funny and she found the comments that people were leaving to be funny. But obviously T doesn't find it funny because her and her mom's real lives have been flipped upside down. And then T had to make a follow-up video addressing rumors that the best friend has started about T's sexuality, saying that her and the best friend have never done anything sexual ever. The best friend was claiming that her and T have been sexually intimate on different occasions throughout their entire 14-year friendship. So T then got on live and called the best friend and started to press her over that rumor on live, and then all of a sudden the best friend didn't have time and hung up in T's face. Then people in T's comment section were telling her, girl, I think the best friend was always secretly in love with you, and since she couldn't get you, she figured a family member was the next best choice. But that's the breakdown, you guys. Love you. Bye.